It's wild, boys.
It's wild. It is. It's wild. And hey, you suck, Crappy. Anyway, here we are live, and it's Wednesday. It is the day before the Game Awards. We're a little bit late, but I was telling some crazy stories.
Yeah, you were.
So, like, Xbox goes, Florida's crazy. I'm like, it ain't that crazy, but except this one time, and then this other time, and then this other time. So, yeah, it is a little bit crazy, but welcome everybody from watching. It's going to be a really good show. I got some good topics. I got a first-time guest here as well.
Yes.
Full panel here today, so it's going to be a really fun show. And I'm excited because tomorrow is the Game Awards, and everybody's going to be talking about it and stuff like that. So as gamers, I was telling Mooch, I was like, kind of our job to watch the Game Awards and give our opinion on it, right? Like people kind of want to know. So we're going to do that. Mooch, you're here? What's up?
I'm here in the flesh, buddy. Let me tell you right now, I'm excited. This has been a crazy week, and it's funny. I've gotten the opportunity over the weekend to play so many different games. And crap, what a time of year we're at. And I understand some of these we'll talk are dumpster fires, but I mean, realistically, I've taken your advice. I've taken it nice and slow. Don't rush anything. Enjoying Red Dead. I'm doing 3-4 major different subjects a night on the game. Then I'm also switching over, playing a little Fallout, playing a little bit of now the Just Cause 4, thanks to one Senor Crapgamer. And,
yes, you mooched it from me.
I did. I really did. I'll tell you, I'm like, listen, we'll get into it. I'm sure it's one of the topics, but it's a bit of a dumpster fire. But sometimes it's a good time when you can hop out of a dumpster fire and put yourself out to enjoy it. Nonetheless, great time. And yeah, we do need to watch the Game Awards because let's be honest, even if it's not done to the likings or the way that we kind of find the procedures been over the years, I think it's really important to check it out. It is something that pays homage, if you will, to the games and the pastime that we all love so much. So I hope they pay a little bit more credit due where credit should be, and it's not just a 3.5-hour Sony commercial, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the risk you have there. It looks like it's going to be a evenly spread out thing as far as like presenters and stuff. So hopefully that's something that kind of correlates well into the show. Also, we got back Salty. What's up, bro? How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, people? Well, I just finished Red Dead Redemption 2, and let me tell you, it left, man, I haven't felt this way about a game in a while.
Yes.
You know, when you finish it and you feel like empty inside?
Yes.
That's how I felt. I'm just like, what am I going to do now? Like, what
online, brother?
game will I play? Yeah, the online's kind of buggy. But,
I haven't even messed with the online, but when I finished up the second little part there, what the hell is that? The epilogue. I felt the same. That ending with the music, and he's like, "I'm here," and he's, I'm not gonna give it away, but
no spoilers.
I'm not. I was like, and that music was amazing. I was like, holy crap! I'm in the same boat you are, right? I have not been able to focus on another game since I completed that, right? Like I've tried, so now I'm diving into Assassin's Creed.
I don't think I'm going to have that problem.
So
I'm not far enough, but I don't think I'm going to have that problem.
You know how a lot of people say that it's a slow burn and they get bored of it? Like the importance of that, the slowness and the character development is kind of underappreciated in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They take time to take you on missions with each character within the crew, per se, let you know who they are, experience their personality, and that's for a reason. It's a slower type burn, but damn, it's worth it. Trust me.
Yeah, like I thought the Sadie Adler stuff, she's really kick-ass too.
Oh my God.
Right?
I want to see a game with her, honestly. Like, come on. I mean,
I was telling Fox about that. I was like, you know what? She's a really good character.
Badass.
And it's kind of cool to why would I spoil the music? It's amazing. What can I say? That's
was she already introduced? I'm halfway through, if not more, in the chapter 3, and I'm
she's like she's a badass. She's a badass.
You already have her because she's there right at the beginning at the farmhouse, dealy deal, and then you rescue dealy deal, and then kayfabe. So yeah, there's like
I like this code words.
Yeah. So there was a swerve there with a blue jay on the backside with her. And then later on it picks up and she's like a real badass. Even in the epilogue, she's super badass too. I was like, holy cow! And then I was like, wow, that is
the name rings a bell. For some reason, I
was like, whoo, man.
The name rings a bell, but I don't remember her as far as where I'm at right now in the game. That's interesting.
Yeah, look her up, dude. She's awesome. Yeah, she's awesome. We also got Foxfire. What's up, Lady Foxfire? How you doing?
Nothing much. I'm good. Excited to be on the podcast with Boom. And Xbot is back, so that's cool too.
Yeah, Xbox.
Okay.
I just told Xbox, I was like, I included you in here. If you can make it, you can. If you can't, you can't. No biggie. And he was like, no problem, bro. So I was like, yeah. So we do. We got Xbox back here. What's up, Xbox? How you doing, man?
What's going on, everybody? Wednesday, Xbox Nation, and I gotta say, what Mooch was saying about the VGAs. I know me and next podcast, we're gonna go in, we're gonna check it out as well. But I don't really give two shits about the awards. I want to see new games, new game trailers, stuff like that.
Announcements.
That's what I'm excited about, man.
And to your credit, you know, it looks like we're gonna get that. So that's pretty exciting to see. Actually, you know, I'm pretty stoked about that. You know, there's a lot of stuff we're gonna get into that as well. Making his debut on the show. He took like about 2 seconds to answer when I was like, hey, dude, can you make the show? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm honored. No problem. So boom, man. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show for the first time. How's it going?
Well, I'm super stoked to be here. Thank you so much. I was always looking forward to guesting on pretty much every show. And this was the last one on the bucket list. So when the call came to the bullpen, I answered.
Yes, absolutely, man. I really appreciate it. It was sort of low last minute as well. I was like, I could use some extra help. Maybe I'll see if Boom's busy tonight. So that's basically what happened. Yeah, so you know what? I want to jump into these topics because there are some pretty good topics. So it looks like we're going to have, we might as well jump into the Game Awards stuff. Phil Spencer, he's going to be at the Game Awards. He's going to be presenting. You have the PlayStation head, what's his name? Sean Layden, excuse me. Sean Layden is going to be there as well. He's going to be a presenter there. So it looks like at least Microsoft is covered as far as that. Mooch, like in particular, because I remember when I saw this and people were like, Phil's going to be there, man. We might get something. And I'm like, Mooch, it sounds to me like he's just going to be there like praising video games and, you know, talking about how great it is to be kumbaya and stuff. Like
he's gonna be the interpretation of what, like in the Olympics, when somebody runs out and hands a torch, he'll be holding a candle. And the only thing you're going to see him reveal is the new members only jacket he's wearing. Listen, he's going to go there. He's going to be there as he's representing Xbox, you know, and I mean, he's doing what his due diligence is. But I don't think you're going to see anything come out of Xbox that you don't already know. Maybe we'll hear something about, and I know this news just kind of released just shortly, Crap, but we may hear a little bit about Below and Ashen coming out, right? So he's going to go out there. That's going to be his shtick. But realistically, I think Phil's out there just to be like waving the Xbox flag, being like, I represent Xbox. I'm here. You know, they asked me to do this. It's in good faith. It's good. It's good for the business. But, you know, I don't know. I don't think you're going to see a lot out of it. I think you're going to see a lot of multi-plats. I think you're going to see a lot of new game announcements, world premieres, which is great. That's great. I think that's what the Game Awards should be about. I'm really excited to hear that. I just, you know, I hope it's not another lifetime dedication to Kojima. It'll be his third lifetime dedication in 3 years. It's something that I hope is not a Sony commercial, and it's more about everything. I want to see Sony, Xbox, Nintendo. I want to see all of them there and all of them equally represented. And I hope that Jeff Keighley finally got the word from all of us. We've been saying it for years.
Exactly. Anybody like Salt, what do you think about this? What are you expecting from this? Do you expect anything big? Something low? Nothing? I mean, should we not get our hopes up?
I don't think there's going to be anything that comes from it. I think it's just kind of a last minute thing. Jeff Keighley's trying to make this, get the show up to where some of the, like the Oscars are at and some of the other entertainment award shows. So you got to get, some of the bigger people from the industry there. You got to get some celebrities. You got to show more games, more trailers, and they're doing that. Phil Spencer's just a people's guy. He likes to talk to people. He likes to do presentations. I forgot, did he do an EA presentation? He just loves to talk. He's got that energy. He's got that persona. Like Matt Booty's been in there for how long? How many times have we seen him? Like Phil Spencer's that guy. So if you want to have someone present, you have him, you put him out there, and it's not necessarily an Xbox thing. It's just an industry thing. A lot of people recognize his face on the internet. So.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
you're not wrong. Go ahead, Foxy. What do you got to say?
Are you telling me that he's not gonna come out, rip his shirt open or one of his shirts open, and pop out with a Fable logo or nothing like that? Oh man, come on.
No.
Hey, I know you and Luca would like that. I've seen some sketchy things between you two about
Yeah,
Phil
he
Spencer.
can get it.
I'm
He
just
can
saying,
get it.
yeah, exactly.
She's not wrong. She's
I'm just
not
saying.
wrong.
I'm just saying. But I mean, look, I get it. Like people, here's the thing, right? People go, well, Phil's not going to be there to push your console war, right? And I get that, right? Like I'm not everything is like that, but it's so kind of annoying to me when people say that, like they aren't involved in the console war
Push
most of
your
the time themselves.
console war.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like it's everybody's, right? Like I get it. He's there and he's going to be like, gaming's great. I love gaming. Gaming loves me. Everybody should game and game should everybody, whatever that
Oh my
means.
God.
You know what I mean? Like I get it. But at the same time, man, it's like I think people are just, I don't know, like him to come out there and say something bold for a change about it. Just Xbox, maybe.
No
You know what
way,
I mean?
crap.
Like,
No,
screw you.
No
I
way.
believe
the
that this
T-shirt
could
under that
happen.
members only jacket's gonna be Ready Player One. It's not gonna be. Listen, no, it's not.
It's gonna be Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, it'll
Well,
be Banjo
hey.
Kazooie riding a
Hey.
Battletoad.
We're all gonna wonder exactly what he has, like what kind of shirt he has on, right?
he's gonna
And,
have some type of subliminal message or something within as he's like presenting an award. You know, Phil, he likes to put in little something about what's happening down the road. It might be a little coded or something like that, but he's got a little
Xbox.
there's a little
Xbox, you're not wrong.
there.
Xbox, you're not wrong in what you're saying because there are some things in the past that would actually prove you're right. But let's be honest, the last 2 or 3 times he's come out, either the shirt hasn't come to fruition or it's so far deep down the path of Xbox's future, we're never going to see it.
hey, Battletoads, bro. Battletoads. That's all I gotta say, man.
Dude, yo, if they announce Ashen and say like it's going into Game Pass by
It is.
Friday,
It's-
Well, that's it. It's already confirmed that it is.
They confirm that? All
Yeah,
right.
the
Well,
developer did.
all right, so see that's freaking awesome right there. Like
It
he
is
put that out
awesome.
there, and that would be good enough for me at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why we're bugging out about Phil Spencer. The real big question when it comes to the VGAs is how did Kojima part his hair? Come on.
Nah.
Everybody wants to see right now.
Nah.
How did he part his hair? I think we're gonna know very. I mean, the camera's gonna be on that guy a lot, right? He's gonna be there, right?
Oh, yeah.
At times
There's
when
a-
it shouldn't be. Like
There's a rumor
Oh,
we're gonna get a new Death Stranding trailer. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. I find it
Cam
yeah, the Koji, good idea. That's like I imagine that they're gonna have something set up
in the
where you
bottom
can-
right corner. He's
you
always
can
there.
you could go online and look at the Kojima cam anytime you want, right? Like here's Kojima taking a drink of coffee. Here's Kojima staring at the stage. Like that's like the next
Cleaning
big
his
thing.
glasses.
Here
I
he is
can't
cleaning
wait.
his glasses. Here he is looking at Jeff Keighley, and there's Jeff Keighley looking back at him. Like it's gonna be this great thing, and you know, it's to me, it's kind of exciting. Boom! What do you think, man? Tell me what you think about these awards. What do you think it means? You know, you got Phil there, you got Sean there. They're just trying to get something going in the industry, or do you expect something from them?
Well, you know what? You have to look at it from a couple of different ways. First of all, it's the only show of its kind that celebrates gaming, and of course the developers that bring gaming to us, right? So each year they've gotten better. It's gotten bigger. This year I think is a bigger deal because they've moved from a so-so location to the Microsoft Theater, right?
Yeah.
That's where they're going to have it. It's a much more professional arena, if you will. I think that we're going to get a lot of surprises, and we already confirmed that we're getting 10 world premieres, which I think is a big deal. And for me personally, I think that we're going to get a couple of really cool announcements. I think we know Ashen is going in on Friday. I think we're going to get a date for Below. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that I think that we're going to have some sort of a new trailer for Resident Evil 2 and get an official a demo release date for it, because the demo is supposed to release mid December, according to
There's a demo for that?
Yes.
Now listen, boom, there's only one person, maybe yourself, that could trump me in excitement for this game, and I'll tell you right now, I don't want anything to do with that demo. I don't want anything to do with it. Now, why would you? Why would you want to put yourself, literally, it's like watching half the movie. It doesn't make any sense. We know we've already played it. We know how great the game already is in its old state. Imagine it in its new state. Who needs to be tickled with that feather? We don't need it.
I mean, we know it's 6 weeks away. I wouldn't mind playing a demo. They've traditionally in the past released demos for pretty much all of the Resident Evils. Again, this is something that was on subreddit where the demo is supposed to be out mid-December. I'm gonna play it. I'm actually very surprised that we haven't heard anything about the Days Gone delay. That's going even further. It now has a release date of 12/31/19.
Yeah.
Wait, is that official? Did it move?
Well, hold on. That's a placeholder, but yeah, we actually have that as a topic today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is a rumor that they are actually going to delay that game again, which we can get into in a little bit.
I'm gonna quickly jump in about the Game Awards though, because
go ahead.
I made a video saying that I was done because I didn't want to make a dedicated video after the fact. Because most of the time when I do videos about the Game Awards after, it's always disappointing. I always feel like, yeah, I mean, it was informative, but I didn't like the way they displayed it. I didn't like this, or I didn't. So I decided I'm not going to do that this year. But it doesn't mean that if they have some awesome announcements, I won't make a video about those, right? So I will be watching it with my friends just because of the announcements.
So you're not done.
I'm not completely done.
Fox is gonna walk. She's like, I'm walking the tight wire, and I am not gonna have a safety net.
Oh my god!
Of course, I'm gonna have a safety net. That's what just happened right now, Fox.
Yeah, I mean, if I really like what they talk about, what they announce, I'll talk about those. But I'm not gonna talk about, like, how many ads were in the Game Awards or how they presented things off screen. And then when we came back from the ads or the commercials, they're like, oh, by the way, Forza won and Ori won, but we're not gonna talk about that. Next, we're gonna do this. I hate that, so I won't give any more attention to the Game Awards on that aspect.
Yeah.
But I will be checking out the announcements, making fun of it with my friends. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, that sounds like it is a good time. Hey, Yobi Dren Clown says, peace, X love life. M&C in the mornings is returning. That's right, it's returning Sunday.
Yes.
We've got a producer, we've got new art, we've got all kinds of stuff. 2 copies of Red Dead Redemption will be given away on the show. He says, panel, if you had your very own team, what type of game, new IP would you make for the next gen that will stand out? If I had my own team, and let's say I work for Microsoft and had an unlimited budget, like Microsoft,
like everybody does.
Yeah, like everybody at Microsoft does, right there. If I had all that money and a big team, I would make a PC exclusive game. No, I'm just kidding. I would make a action adventure.
I'm leaving. I'm done.
Make an action adventure game, which like single player game. There would be there would be. I'd take a big risk. There would be no multiplayer in there whatsoever. It'd just be a single player action adventure game. Something epic, like grand locations, really cool, like
from Florida. Yeah.
Yes, Escape from Florida. You gotta watch out for alligators and sharks.
Oh shit, too real, Xbox, too real.
Spiders, you gotta watch them. You're like, what is that? Oh crap, it's a brown recluse. Oh, what's that? It's a Black Widow. Like, that's real stuff here. You know what I mean? Oh, what's that?
Those are just comics for us in New York. But
look at that. It's a Diamondback Rattler. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that's been my life. Like, I've actually, those are real things. You know what I mean? Like, you actually run into that stuff. And so, interesting story. When my folks moved us down here when I was little, first thing they did was buy a snake bite kit, right? Like, they just pictured it as like a big marshland area. But yeah, that's what I would do. What would you guys do? What kind of game would you guys make?
I would make the next Gears of War would have a throwable Lancer.
Oh my god!
Throw it around, it would come back to your hand. So. You know what? That would assure that game was the game of the generation, 100%.
Okay, I'll still try it. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Algorithm says Borderlands 3. That is all, and that is a rumor, and we're going to be talking about that as well.
Very excited. For that.
What about you, Fox? What kind of game would you make?
Oh man, I have so many ideas, but the one that sticks out the most would be like a beat 'em up game, like a modern day
side scroller.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Interesting. You'd have unlimited budget and you make a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
nice.
It would be badass. It have a good story, have some good graphics. 4K, 60 frames, beat 'em up. Actually, 8K.
Crap, Stein has an unlimited budget. All he ever does is trim his beard with it. So
he does, and
yeah.
Selfies.
So
like, hey,
I can't blame Foxy.
I just love it.
I get it. No, that's awesome. What about you, Salt? What kind of game would you make, man?
All right. First of all, I take my team, right? We get our PR people. We go over to Disney. We'd have them cut the contract for EA. All Star Wars games are done there. Then we would take over the Star Wars games, right? And then I would go from there, man, because I love Star Wars. We do it the baddest that you've ever seen in your life, man. We'll do Jedi, we'll do Sith, we'll even go back to the old Republic, man. So.
Hey, you know what I like about Salty, man? He likes the prequels, man. That's what I like about Salty. He's got some of those episode 1 figures, just like me, packed away, just like me. Hey, I saw some.
The battle of Geonosis.
Amazing.
This is a real fact. When they showed that trailer for Battlefront 2, it got more views within a certain amount of time than The Last Jedi. I mean, the trailers for The Last Jedi. So the prequels get some love after some time.
They do. You know what? You know why they get love now is because the newest one was the newest.
They're like, oh man, I guess
Jedi, and it was
right. You know?
Yeah, I guess George Lucas wasn't crazy after all.
George Lucas wasn't that bad after all, was he?
You know what's funny? I saw. I give a little bit of crap gamer. I usually don't get personal. Like at that time when episode 2 came out, I was very sick, man. In the hospital, wasn't even sure I was gonna make it, man. I was just like, I gotta see this movie. I saw the movie and I was just like, man, I was so happy with it. You know, I know a lot of people hate it or whatever, but that's why it always has special meaning to me. Xbot, what kind of game would you make, man? Destiny clone, I'm sure.
No, I got
Destiny Halo.
I got to actually thank Salty because he actually got me to think a different direction than where I was originally going. So he went over to Disney, and I'm going to go over there with my crew as well. And we're going to make an open world Marvel super villain game where you can be like Carnage. You can be cool. When Venom was actually a villain when he first came out, all the classic Marvel villains in an open world basically take over New York City storyline, and you can link up with your friends, each one picking their own favorite villain, and go crazy throughout New York City. Yeah,
that sounds actually pretty cool, man. I gotta admit that's Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So cool stuff right there.
I'm gonna play Salty's game. I'm gonna play Xbox game.
You're gonna play my game? Come on, man! I'm gonna have a big.
Of course, action adventure. That's one of my favorites. Oh yeah, Florida. Escape from Florida.
Exactly.
It's real.
Mooch, what was yours again, or did you not come up with one?
I didn't go yet. I mean,
okay, go.
I got two ideas, to be honest with you. One is kind of like the generic one that everyone would think of, but having Microsoft, having the cloud services, having Game Pass, having games as a service be like their middle name, like there's really no reason that they don't have a Halo-based game that is like a Destiny that's a forever-going game.
Dude, keep talking. Go ahead.
Right? There's absolutely no reason for not having that. But if you really would say to me now, Mooch, listen, you're the CEO, you're the chief of this. This is your whole kit and caboodle. There's no zeros I won't cut on a check. You can have whatever you want. I would make Microsoft's version of Grand Theft Auto. Like, and I think that's kind of what it's kind of in Crap's world. I would make a huge living space where it's kind of this action game that has a multiplayer. You have to have I know, Crap, I liked everything you said except for no multiplayer. Multiplayer is what keeps, it's like Eddie in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Crap.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I just think that if you were to, like, so many people doubt Xbox. They think, they never want to do single player. Why not come out with who's yelling, by the way?
Yeah, Nemesis says I should have a yelling simulator come out.
Yes.
That wouldn't be so bad.
So wouldn't it shock everybody if they came out with just a huge epic single player game? Right? Like, I think that would keep people on their toes a little bit. And I think
I don't think it depends on how you word that. If you reword Yobi's question and said all of us on the panel are now going to get unlimited and we each have our own, then yes, one of us has to have what you're talking about. But if only one gets made, I got to say no, Crap, because having a single player only game, we know what that is. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Spider-Man's the fastest selling thing since sliced bread. It's unbelievable. It's selling like crazy.
Give me pictures of Spider-Man, and then more pictures of Spider-Man.
It's sold like crazy. It's selling like crazy. But like the thing is, it's a one-time shot where you have GTA, which has been in the top 10 for what? 5 years, 6 years. And that's what I'm saying. So if I'm in the CEO position, I have to look at my longevity on this as a business stand front. I would say that you'd have to have something like, I don't see why Microsoft, with the team they have, and this is what I've said, I'll tie it in real quick and then we'll move on to another subject, Crap. All these people that are at the initiative, these big names they're getting, okay? They're too big. These are big people, okay? They're not coming on for a huge single player and then leaving in 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
This is something with something tied into their games as a service. This is, to me, is their version of a GTA. They're doing something massive.
Well,
it's massive and long lasting.
Mooch, I want to say Mooch and Crap. I know Crap said something about single player. Like when I look at the Xbox, I don't think of it as like strictly multiplayer. I feel like what they provide on the Xbox platform is like with like Gears 4 and stuff like that. You have a great story, single player experience. You have great multiplayer. I feel like what the platform does is it gives you a great experience in like all those kind of like categories. You know, you have your single player, your co-op, your competitive multiplayer, and I feel like they give it that. And I don't want them to just kind of like adhere to like the flavor of the week right now, because this other company over here has got these single player games. I feel like they can still make games that fit that mold, that have that great single player story experience, has co-op with it as well, and an awesome multiplayer. I feel that's what they give people when it comes to games, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. But I do want to move on a little bit because there was a little bit more game award stuff I wanted to talk about. So supposedly Crash Team Racing Remaster is something we're gonna get. This new Far Cry game that people are saying looks a lot more like a true Fallout game.
Well, you gotta be careful with a true Fallout game. I think this is Far Cry's
Hashtag Fallout
interpretation
76
of it.
sucks, Mooch.
Hashtag Fallout 76 sucks. Tweet. Tweet that out as much as possible.
I had pizza for dinner. By the way, Fallout is garbage.
Yeah,
garbage.
Bags.
Yes.
Garbage. Yes. They give out
Fallout 4, 16 million copies in 3 weeks. Trash.
Trash.
Hashtag trash.
Hey, Boom,
get
is it true? Because I know you bought the collector's edition of that. The helmet that you wear, is that made out of cardboard? Like, what's the deal with that? Is that just...
Yeah.
It actually was made out of salt, and when the rain hit it, it dissolved. So I bought
Stay salty.
Ba-dum.
No, the bag situation. It's a cheap bag. It really is.
It's a bag.
But it's
Getting a new one.
Trash bag to throw your
It is your bag, baby.
Hey, so I
Exactly.
brought home this great filet mignon steaks, but they gave it to me in a shitty bag. Who gives a shit?
Hey, no, what the bag's for is for you to throw it in the garbage, right? So you put it in the bag. And
Well, hey, listen, whoever decided to buy that collector's edition to look like Lord Helmet, that's their own production. I didn't do that.
I nearly died in that thing doing the unboxing, man. It's hard to breathe in that thing.
Oh man, could you imagine? Hold on, Boom's like, here I am. I'm unboxing this thing. It's me, Boomstick, yo. And then he puts it on, and he's like, and he passes out.
Dude, I can't not. It took almost for like the 30 seconds that I closed out the video. It took about a dozen takes. I had to like take a breath, put the helmet in, and then do the.
You were better off getting the Pip-Boy edition.
I have it.
Well, he buys everything. He's boombastic.
Man who has it all, right there, buddy.
But still, I mean, that's funny as hell. You know what I mean? Like, if you just look at this stuff, and by the way, as we approach 500 people watching, hit that like button, man. Let's get some likes going. Let's see if we can't get up over 200 real quick. I got a good show for you tonight, man. I put together some good people. We're having fun. Going to talk about some game awards and a lot of other stuff. So please hit that like button, share it out, all that great stuff.
Real quick before you move on. So does every game have to be post-apocalyptic? Is that the new standard? And I was talking to Jez, and I was like, man, the new, Far Cry, the only thing that would make it better since it's going post-apocalyptic is if they put Battle Royale in there. So you combine all these, the genres that people are smashing into games. It's crazy. I don't know.
I hear Salt, and listen, me and Crap had a really good discussion on an MNC show last week about this, Salt. We were talking about what would be, everyone thought it was going to be pirates. I remember when Black Flag came out, they're like, "Whoa, we found it! We found it! Get rid of zombies! Pirates is it!" And let me tell you something. Yo ho, my ass! It didn't fucking. Nobody gives a shit. So here's my thing. Now I agree with Salt. Here's the thing. Me and Boom happen to be huge zombie fans, but some people aren't, like Crap. Post-apocalyptic, okay, really does kind of fall into different categories. So you've got your zombie in the post-apocalyptic world. You've got your virus, your whatever it was, your biochemical war, and then you've got your nuclear fallout. And maybe that someone else who's more creative than me will come out with a fourth type of post-apocalyptic world, which others have, kind of like whatever's going on in oh god, what's the game that's not going to do very good in February that's coming out? Crap.
Oh, Metro.
Yeah, and I mean,
Game Pass.
Seeing Game Pass, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, like,
it's a great looking game. That game's going to look amazing on the
It's
X.
going to be the most beautiful failure of all time. Listen.
Yeah, just like if you look back at the original Metro on the 360, that was a great looking game on that. And that was exclusive at the time.
Agreed.
And nobody bought it.
Nobody
bought it. I bought
it.
And
then they had it for $6 and nobody bought that.
I really enjoyed that game. I mean, the ammo was very scarce, and achievement-wise, good luck with that.
Yes, exactly. It's like not as bad as Red. I don't know if it was as bad as Red Dead or not, but you know, Red Dead was such a great story. I actually didn't really care as much on that. It was like you put 100 hours into it, and you end up with 22 gamer score or whatever it was. That's an exaggeration.
To hop on with Salt brought up a good subject. I'll be honest with you. When I saw that Far Cry was coming out with it, first of all, I'm a huge Far Cry fan. I love Far Cry. I like Far Cry more than I like Fallout, and I can prove that by achievements or just the games I've played. But realistically, I'd like to see what Far Cry is going to do with their spin on it. But I kind of hear Salty on that. Like I'm thinking they're piggybacking off of a situation here, and I don't know if Far Cry. I don't know if that's their bag. To be honest with you, we'll find out. I'm going to try it because right now I can't see it being a bad thing. You're taking two things I kind of like and putting them together. But, you know, sometimes, you know, listen, people love peanut butter and chocolate. But I've had some peanut butter and chocolate where it just kind of offended me slightly.
I love peanut butter and chocolate.
Well, sometimes you can go a little heavy on the peanut butter. I'm 60-40 chocolate.
I don't know, man. Like sometimes, you know, you get those Hershey bars and you just open the peanut butter and I don't know. That's like no. First of all, I don't like my own concoctions crap. I like it to be made for me, and sometimes I prefer it to be 60-40 chocolate. All right. Am I the only one that's ever done that? You just open the peanut butter.
Are you the only one that's done that? You're speaking to the internet. Of course, you're not the only one.
Man, it's delicious. Who the hell wouldn't do that? You know, you make your own crazy creations, man. Now I haven't done that in years, but. Man,
I see it in your near future, though.
Well, you better damn well believe it.
I know. I want to see pictures.
That reminds me of like this video I saw on YouTube of like sleep eaters. They like eat at night and then they wake up and there's like shit everywhere, like containers.
Oh no!
Oh my god! They like gain like 50 pounds in a month. They're like, what the hell's going on?
I don't do that often, but there was one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I look over and there was a bag of Starburst there.
No.
So I started eating Starburst like at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't even remember. So I wake up the next morning, I had like Starburst wrappers all over. I was like, what the hell did I do? You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, I woke up at like 3 in the morning, started stuffing like 10 Starburst in my mouth. I had no idea what the hell. So needless to say, I don't keep crap next to my bed anymore. So yeah, good time.
Scrappy, be careful. You don't want to choke in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that would be bad. Although some people never mind. Yeah, everybody, what's up? Hey, hit the like button, like I said. Hey,
I was gonna go left. Thank God.
Algorithm says Far Cry Apocalypse is what Far Cry Primal was, so Far Cry 4 is just a spinoff. Sean Felix says great show so far. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, man, 500 watching, man. Hit the like button. Let's get up over 200. See if we can do it. Yeah.
Says Mooch, where do you get this idea that Metro Exodus is going to fail? And Joe, I think we just kind of proved it when we said all the other ones did. It doesn't have a story that. Listen, this may sell a bit on its appearance. It's going to be beautiful. It's absolutely going to be stunning. But to be honest with you, nobody cares. No one that I've taught in all the years I've been doing YouTube, all these years. Except for Boom, like 8 seconds ago, has never said to me, you know, Metro was really just one of my games of the year. I played it like 8 times. No one's ever said that to me.
I love the Metro, like the series, man.
Are you guys on amphetamines?
I can't wait for the next one.
What happened?
No, the other ones, they didn't sell well, and I believe the developer at one point in time, they didn't know if they were going to be able to get Exodus out. So with Xbox,
that's even a worse symbol.
But no, but check this out. With Xbox kind of looking into developers and studios and teams,
they should buy a developer for a game, makes a game that nobody buys.
But dude, the quality of it, they could put them on another project, have them do a different game, but that would be interesting right there to me, because I know they were having. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to get Exodus out. So I'm happy that it's coming out.
Hey, I am too. Here's the thing. It's going up against a thing called Anthem. And I think most people, even you, Xbot, are going to be...
What's an Anthem? people.
Anthem. That's that Destiny game that's going to outdo Destiny and give you free DLC.
Take it easy.
Free
Humble break,
DLC.
sir.
Free for me.
Humble break,
Hey,
sir.
imagine a game
Pew, 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 pew.
that's like an MMO like that, FPS sort of deal, but it doesn't charge you 3 times the price of the initial game to keep playing. Holy crap on a cracker. Amazing concept.
They're going to charge you something, buddy.
They're charging you. They're charging you nothing.
They're going to
buddy.
charge you to buy like a Star Wars, mech. So you
Hey,
Exactly.
if I can look like Darth Vader, sign me up. That's all
Right
I
now.
gotta say.
Hey,
Right?
crap!
Like,
Listen, I got some breaking news.
oh, this channel's all about breaking news.
Okay, well, listen. Thanks to
Yes.
thanks
Make it
to
time.
Matty P of Twitter, GameSpot has confirmed that Below has just been announced with a release date of December 14th.
Nice.
There it
That
is.
is
Oh,
That
amazing.
didn't take long.
And,
did it?
About time.
That didn't
yeah,
take too long. What was it?
yeah. So
13?
Cappy Game says take a solitary journey through the haunted depths of a forbidden isle. Below launches on Xbox One and Steam on December 14th. Explore, survive, discover soon. So, hey, I think that's pretty cool. Actually, I'm way more interested in Below than Ashen because Ashen's like Dark Souls apparently. And like,
It's Dark Souls-ish.
Here's a quick question. Why do we have these shows if the leaks just let everything out beforehand? You know what I'm saying?
You know what's weird? Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of this whole internet thing too, right? Like and the problem is, right? Like, so a lot of times, like trademarks and stuff get filed before some of these shows,
Mhm.
and they do them real last minute because everybody's just looking at. You can just look up LinkedIn. You can, like literally right
Yeah.
in front of your fingertips. You can find anything. So that is part of the problem, and so it kind of spoils a lot lot of the stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
and the gamers are like, man, this show sucked. I knew everything. There's no
Yeah, I mean-
surprise." It's like, well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Exactly. But back onto the topic that we were on 15 minutes ago. So they're saying new Far Cry game, the first info on the next Dragon Age game, the Obsidian RPG, Bioshock rumors,
Yes.
there maybe Mortal Kombat. Good Lord, there are so many rumors and stuff going on. We actually are going to get
Metroid.
decent announcements for this, and I think
Yeah.
that's incredibly cool. Like, what do you guys think about this, or what are you looking to see? Like, Mooch,
That's the show. There's the show, crap.
the show, that's a show right there, right?
That's
But
the
what if
show.
they do this?
announcements.
What if they do this? Hey, here's this little commercial for the Razor Blade guy, and he,
no,
and then
hopefully
at
they
the
don't
bottom
have
of the screen,
him.
they're like Dragon Age 4 coming 2021. It's gonna be great. You know what I mean? Like that's my thing. I don't want it to be like that. Like, because they're gonna have some pretty big presenters. You know, you got Phil. They're gonna have the Russo brothers there, the Avengers people.
Awesome.
Right? That's pretty cool. They're gonna have I'm reading this. I don't know
I
who a lot
heard
of these
something
people
about a
are.
new Alien game.
Alien Blackout.
Oh, Alien Blackout. Oh, they're gonna have Joseph Fares, guys. He's gonna be there. I'm
He's just
actually
gonna come out and
excited
curse.
Dude, I
I'm
hope
a
that guy
huge
is
Alien
drunk.
fan, so
Oh, they're gonna
I
have-
am
I hope
always
he's
down to
drunk.
see like new Alien kind of like content and
Hey,
stuff like that.
but check it out. They do actually. I will say that this is a step up. So they have the Duffer brothers who they did Stranger Things. So that's pretty cool. They got Aisha Tyler there. She's a cool gamer girl. Joseph Fares, cool stuff. I'm not gonna like. Okay, so they got that ninja streamer. I know I've heard of him. I just that that guy, he makes a bunch of money streaming. Great.
Yeah,
You know, I think that's awesome. I wish I could do that. You know,
He sells Samsons now.
does he?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, so I mean, like out of all the like,
and
that's-
he reports other players that he feels threatened by. So there you go.
well, hold on. Let me just say, let's just say, like out of all the games and these games and possible announcements, that's pretty exciting because usually we didn't get this before, right? So this might be the first time we get that. Mooch, what are you looking forward to, and what do you want to see?
The Game Awards?
Yeah, like in terms of new game announcements, like there's
I mean-
Bioshock, Mortal Kombat, Crash Team Racing, all kinds of cool
I mean,
stuff.
the Bioshock by far is
What?
the
I
number-
thought you liked Mortal Kombat. You love fighters. Smooth.
Mortal
Yes.
Kombat. No, if I was excited for that, I'd just go back and watch a couple of really, really good Bruce Lee movies. Listen, I don't need that. I'm past all that. If you guys want to like sit down and kick your Xbox controller against the wall, that's fine. I don't have time for that kind of stuff. But I'll be honest with you, Bioshock is very interesting, and
Hell yeah.
it's the thing about it is like, and it's funny because a lot of people ask me all the time. Crap, again, MNC show, we talked about this. I get asked it all the time about, what's your favorite game? And it's not fair. There's so many great games now that it's hard to just pinpoint. But Bioshock just kind of holds something just very sacred for me. And the only thing I'm concerned about is that Ken Levine's not involved. possibly this time, and that bothers me because when you look at the genius that is Bioshock 1 and when you look at the genius that is Bioshock Infinite, it was Ken. And I enjoyed 2. I really did, but 2 was just one with a mirror. You know, they flipped the script and you were the big daddy. But I mean, except for that.
Whoa, spoiler, Mooch.
Oh, hey, watch out, guys. Let's go.
My world is over.
20 years later.
Meanwhile, you got crap in the first 3 minutes of this one being like, Arthur, don't kill him, Arthur. All right.
You said it was Arthur. It could have been anybody.
That's all right. It could have been anybody. I'm
coming for you.
I'm coming for you, James. All right, listen. So, here we go. But nonetheless, I think that's one of the things I'm looking for the most. Who's yelling, by the way? I hate that guy that yells on your show, crap. I
know, right?
Right?
Yeah, that's gotta be a shirt. There's a shirt right there. Who's yelling?
Who's yelling?
If that's not a Mooch shirt, I don't know what is. By the way, Mooch messaged me earlier. He goes, dude, we got to get some new merch out there, man. Some new shirts. And I agree 100%, man. Like, I can't think of how many 4K makes you a better gamer shirts I saw. People wearing them to like E3, dude. It's crazy.
Yes.
So just $2 because I'm cheap. Mooch volume. Hey,
great.
man, I'll take it, man. It's the holidays. I can take all I can get, man. I'm just a simple guy trying to make it in the world.
I do think real quick, crap, because I want to hear the rest of the panel's thoughts on the Game Awards. I'm looking forward to mainly the world premieres or the things that we've heard that are rumored. And I agree with what Salty said a few moments ago. What's the sense in having a world premiere when you release it the day before the world premiere?
I thought you were going to say, what's the deal?
Oh, that's coming. I've got a promo coming.
What's the deal with
What's
Fallout
the next deal with
76?
Fallout 76? No, I got another one coming too, crap, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Next video. What's the deal with leaks?
Is it about a dumpster fire?
It is about a dumpster fire.
Oh, okay.
And only Mooch is there with the extinguisher. So don't look. I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, other than that, you know what else I'm looking forward to? The Follies on stage. Because the one thing that game developers and CEOs of game companies can't do is talk in front of a lot of people. It's not one of their fortes. So one of the best things to always watch when you're watching the Game Awards is people they come out with a joke in mind and they're like, never mind, Jeff. Let's go to the award.
Stuttering dev, you have the sweaty dev, you have
the nervous dev, right? The guy that's like, that's Sean Layton is all of those. And
he is.
He might even have a tight shirt on. It doesn't.
No,
fit.
I think we've given enough slack on that. He's not. He's wearing a suit for the rest of his days.
You think so? Because hey, here's the thing. And it's a terrible Batman movie, but I mean, it wasn't as bad as Batman and Robin. But Batman Forever had Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey, right?
Terrible. But yes.
Yeah, it was terrible, right? But Jim Carrey was the Riddler. Spoiler alert. And he's real jealous of Bruce. He's real jealous of Bruce Wayne, so he wears a fake mole and a suit. Just to look, so he like kind of looks like Bruce Wayne. Well, when Phil was out there in like a sport jacket and a t-shirt, that's what Sean Layden was trying to do. He's emulating him because he wanted to be him, but he's not as cool. You know what I mean?
It's 110% sure. By the way, you said spoiler for Riddler. I think he was on the poster.
I know.
Great.
It's not like the girls like Luca and Foxy are going to be like, oh my gosh, Sean Layden. Wow, what a hot, you know what I mean? Like,
who? I mean, like, who is
like,
this?
Phil. Is that Phil? No, that's Sean Layden. Right?
Somebody's like, which guy on the panel keeps yelling? Nobody's yelling, sir. You're wrong.
That's right. That's Asshole 1977. Great name. Love it. So great.
Anybody else? What are you guys looking forward to? Boom. Are you looking forward to any? Is there any particular rumor that you've heard? I mean, I even heard, even though I don't believe this one bit, Splinter Cell, but you know, I'm not going there.
Every show, man.
Every
Here we
show.
go again.
Listen, I think I have really hung myself on the Tomb Raider / Splinter Cell situation. So I'm just gonna not say anything anymore and just wait for it to eventually come out.
They're gonna announce Tomb Raider to Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Oh, Gamepad. They could. It didn't sell very well.
Hey, listen.
How dare you?
It did. Yeah. Well, that's a shame because that game is fantastic.
It was amazing. I
Hell
enjoyed that game. Cover your ears, Spider-Man fans. I enjoyed that game much more than Spider-Man. There, I said it. Better than Spider-Man.
Okay.
Lots to do. I'm going to say this. I'm excited for the Borderlands 3. I really enjoyed the series. 1 and 2 was fantastic. And we've heard from numerous shows that, Borderlands, just like Splinter Cell was going to make an appearance, It would be nice if we finally seen something. I mean, even if we don't get it for, maybe until holiday next year, at least we would have some sort of confirmation that it is in fact coming out.
So you're saying they should tease the future a little bit? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, maybe just kind of a little peek behind the curtain. Don't open it all the way.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I know Mooch is a huge fan. Actually, early on this generation, we were all supposed to play Borderlands 2 in the collection or whatever, because I never actually finished that up. So
well, I'm probably gonna get, this will be music to Craps Years. I'm looking forward to grabbing, I think it's next week it comes out. I'm gonna grab, or the week after, I'm gonna grab the Borderlands VR.
Fantastic.
I love Borderlands, and listen, if anyone doesn't like Borderlands, I'd like to get 5 minutes to be able to explain to you why you're missing out on something. It's got some of the best writing. Only writing I saw that made me kind of laugh. A lot of people, maybe I just have I like Seinfeld. I like that kind of humor. So like, if it's not that humor, but that humor was very funny, I thought. I also thought that the only people who could write like that since Borderlands was the Sunset Overdrive folks. I thought that was they made fun of themselves, did a great job in that game. But Borderlands 3, if that is something crap, let me tell you something. That would make the Game Awards for me just on that world premiere, because that's something that has been missing for so much. It had unbelievable gun mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
The writing was great. The gameplay was crisp. And the variations of different missions. And it had an open world to it. So early on, so you could go and do whatever there was a lot of missions you didn't have to do. There was a lot that had some funny things if you did go do them.
Yeah.
Like, what was it there? Tiny Tina or whatever it is there. Like, there's just so many different, and I don't think it was Tiny, but it's a great game. And if people haven't experienced that game, the Handsome Jack collection's got to be what? Mere pennies at this point. I recommend.
Yeah, I picked it up when it was super cheap. It was like $15 or something. That was years ago. It was like $15. So I never even played the
great game.
So I mean,
did you have to find anyone's leg though? That's the mission I want.
Yes. Like, hey, actually, Mooch, I'm gonna pick up Borderlands VR just because I think that's a cool kind of world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic in VR. Yeah. I wonder if you'd be able to play it with 4 players. That's the question.
Can't. It's only single player.
It's single player, unfortunately. That is the Achilles heel of it.
I wish they would have done at least like 2-player co-op.
Co-op, yeah.
Yeah, like that is a bit of a bummer because I feel like that would have been so much better.
If there's anybody in the chat crap that happens to be a VR developer for Borderlands, we'll take a code though. We'd love to have a code, folks.
Oh, absolutely.
Please, tis the season, okay? Thank you. Yes.
Tis the season.
Hashtag mooching, hashtag why is he yelling?
Yes.
Exactly. Boom.
Who's
so yeah, anybody else like
me.
Yeah, go ahead, man. What are you looking forward to, bro?
I know we don't talk about Nintendo much here. It's kind of a dirty word.
I like Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like I put
I'm just kidding.
Cow picture in on the chat just so that we could have a little Nintendo news in there. You know?
So Metroid Prime trilogy has been rumored. Reggie was, bumping elbows with the man himself, Jeff Keighley. I guess he had a shirt on. And if you guys don't remember last year, I think they talked about Bayonetta 1 and 2, and then the third one came out. So this is kind of leading into Metroid Prime 4. So I think this would be awesome news if we get this. I have a Switch. I just got some good grips for it, so I will buy that day one.
I'm right there with you.
Me and Mooch right now are waiting anxiously for codes for we both successfully mooched a Switch game. And
I got it. I got the code actually.
Oh, did you? Awesome. I haven't got mine
I believe
yet.
you got yours too.
Octopath Traveler?
No, we got Smash Ultimate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, I got it tonight. Shout out to
slide one
WRC
into
Cup.
my DMs.
Salty's like, if you don't mind, it is that season, folks.
Yeah, Mooch got his. He's like, he messaged me. He goes, Best Buy is slacking, so apparently they're late on sending him the code. But I will have it. So
yes, you will.
I've like ascended to the next. Hey, now Y9 Power goes, yeah. Crapgamer, Aisha is cute with long legs because she goes, she's not funny, and I says no, but she's cute. So you know what I mean? Like,
she's
what are you gonna do?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh man, the Crapgamer did not do that to a picture of Phil Spencer. Get out of here, you nasty. So anybody else? What do you guys think? Anybody else think something that you guys specifically want to see or that's been rumored? The Crash Team Racing thing was kind of surprising.
When I'm looking at the VGAs, I'm looking at this because 2019, is going to be the year that we're going to start hearing about the new hardware and all that good stuff. So it's not anything in particular, but I'm looking at it in terms of any type of game announcements and stuff like that. I'm looking at it with like that kind of like kids excitement. You know, the 12-year-old Xbot is going to come out in terms of like what games that they show, what new games they show are coming down the road and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm looking at it like it's like the entry point into a whole year of like new information, new games, new hardware. So this is like that welcome mat, and I'm excited. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to check it out. And I like making fun of the people on stage as well. So that it's those two.
Take it from me. You got to be careful. Make sure you have the sound up.
Sarcastically, hashtag.
Yes, you got to have the sound up so you know exactly what's going on.
Yes. Don't be watching a football game while you're watching that on mute, because God forbid.
And there is a story that we will not get into about that, but
absolutely
yes,
not.
Hit that like
on stage. I'm like, he dropped the ball.
Exactly. if you're live tweeting, just be careful. I'm just saying.
Yes.
So there's also this rumor that came out from our friendly neighborhood insider Clobrill. By the way, this guy single-handedly got me hyped back up for Crackdown 3. So having him talking about these different studios that Microsoft are interested in, that's cool, because I figured if they didn't, anything that they're going to have now or that they do now probably won't be announced until next year anyway. But it's just cool that they're still looking. And he said multiple new studios, some bigger ones and some medium-sized ones, which I think is good, because I know a lot of people, and I think Xbox in that camp, like, oh, well, we already have a lot. And I'm of the position, I happen to think otherwise, right? Like, I think the only ones out of these newer ones that are really going to be anything special for us Xbox fans, obviously the Initiative and Playground Games, maybe Obsidian. But if you read into what Phil Spencer's been talking about, like PC DNA with Obsidian and In Exile, right? Like those, I think they're going to stick with the isometric style crap that people in console don't even care about. And then you have Compulsion Games, which I mean, they're okay, but not anything spectacular in my opinion. So I feel like they still need to make a little bit of a splash, pick up some really good developers, super good developers. So he laid one out, said that Microsoft is in late talks with a developer mid-size that works with Sony a lot. So obviously there's a handful. Ready at Dawn being one. They did The Order. They've done a couple of God of War games for Sony on the PSP, believe it or not. Supermassive Games, who did Until Dawn, Mooch. I know you're loving that game. Crapgamer was right.
Crapgamer was right.
Exactly. I told you that game was phenomenal, man. That was my favorite PlayStation 4 exclusive for the longest time.
Very good game.
Great movie. Great movie.
Oh, shut up, Xbox. Shut up. It's amazing.
Great movie.
I got to tell you this, though, because Mooch was telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm playing it. Like, his wife, who's not a gamer, likes to watch him play that game. Yeah. Like, when I was playing the game, I had people, even Hellheimer was, like, sticking around and watching it.
Not a gamer.
I know, but it's one of those games. I get it, but, like, there's more to it than that. Like, there's parts in that game where if you move the controller at all.
Dude, I played it. I beat the game.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I beat the movie. My bad.
Oh, shut up, man. That game's amazing. Come on, man. That game's fun.
It's not. Let me tell you something about it. That's just
do not cry in your coffee, man. I'm just saying, if you like it, that's great. Me, myself, watching the game for like a half hour and then hitting the square button 3 times and making sure I don't jump off a ledge and then watching the game again for another half hour. It's a movie, man.
It's hard. It's hard to explain. And don't get me wrong. I know where you're coming from with that. I really, really do. But at the same time, look, it's not like I'm saying, oh, wait, Red Dead Redemption 2 or the new Gears of War, let me put those aside for some Until Dawn. No. But realistically, again, there's a lot of people that I speak to on YouTube, etc., that haven't played Evil Within 2. And it's because they just didn't get around to it, and that's fine. I played Evil Within 2 Halloween of last year, not this past October, the October before. And I enjoyed the hell out of it, and it really, it was charismatic. It worked everything out for me. This year, I played Until Dawn through the Halloween season, and then now I'm on my, whenever I have a couple nights where I'm like, you know what, I don't feel like getting into office problems, I'll go in and I'll play a little bit of Until Dawn until, it's like you got an hour to kill, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things and the story, if you've played it only once, Xbot, you haven't gotten the full story.
No,
So you
I
don't even know what
understand,
happened to them.
I almost actually had everybody saved.
Not just that, but you have to find all the totems. You have to find all the clues so that you can finish that. You know that basically the movie within the movie.
Oh my goodness! I have made such a mistake selling my PS4. I want to get those totems.
Hold on, wait. Hold on
Oh
a second.
shit!
I'm
He's
picking
an
up a totem.
actor.
I'm picking up a totem right now. It's showing me the future. Xbox 448 buys another PS4.
Oh,
What the hell is this?
I gotta say, I'm a little emotional right now because I believe Crap is trying to say that the developer of Until Dawn, if that comes to Xbox, for some rhyme or reason, that would be a bigger splash.
I don't think.
Ninja Theory.
I don't.
Hey, not
Oh,
Ninja Theory, not Ninja Theory. I think Ninja Theory was a good get. I just don't think Compulsion Games was a huge deal, and I don't think In Exile is a big deal.
You need your Netflix filler, man. That's what you need.
I get what you're saying, but look, Quantic Dream is one that's also rumored, and they did Detroit, which I love that freaking game. So,
oh my goodness, should I just see my way out now? Like, you want
look, Mooch is. He'll tell you too. That's an amazing game. Mooch,
It is.
tell him,
It really
tell
is.
him.
No, I do. I the minute I'm done my second playthrough Until Dawn, I'm starting another game in Detroit. I really do. I like them, but again, they're for a certain particular time or day of week. It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, you know what? I'll be honest with you. When I get done with this, I'm playing more Just Cause 4 because you know why? I feel like having a beer and enjoying some just explosions. Like it's like watching a Bruce Willis film. It's crazy.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. You know, no. But nonetheless, all right, thank you.
Boom.
I think it's so good. Oh, it's great. Predators in the chat. He says, just put my earphones in and all I can hear is Mooch yelling.
I was like, who's yelling?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right,
Yes.
it's true. You're not wrong. It's true. And I'm sitting very far away from the mic. You wouldn't believe it.
Hey, let's get to 200 likes. Holy crap, man. I don't think it's
still
ever
not there.
No, I don't think it's ever taken this hard. Like, here I am dancing for the people. Yeah, come on. Like, what does anybody else think about these studios, especially the one that's like worked with Sony a lot? Does that get you excited? I get, like for me personally, these companies that work on console games specifically gets me more excited than isometric RTS. That's just me.
Crap, I gotta say, the thing that gets me excited is I'm seeing commitment to Game Pass. That's what's getting me excited. It's not the fact that they might get this developer that did a lot of work with Sony or anything like that. It's the fact that they're not done yet. I think that's what gets me really excited. You guys know I am a Game Pass subscriber. Absolutely love the service, and to see that they are stacking dev on top of dev, studio on top of studio. It's showing me that I'm gonna have content in Game Pass for like years to come, and that to me, that's what gets me excited.
Well, let me ask you a question. In Xbot, I mean, I got to ask you. When I ask you, I don't mean the family either. But everyone on the panel, I don't mean the family. I mean just you. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. There's no rebuttal here. There's no but moochism or nothing. How much are you guys? I have Game Pass good till almost 2020. Listen, I haven't even touched Game Pass.
Really?
No.
See, I'm
playing a new game that just dropped the other day. Mutants Year Zero is fantastic.
What kind of game is that? Because I hear stuff about it.
It's XCOM.
It's like XCOM. Yeah.
So it's like
Gears
Tactics or
Yes. It's like Gears Tactics would be.
It looked really cool until I heard that it was that type of game, and I was like, I'll leave that alone.
No, nothing. I'm not this is not a bash on any of the games in there at all. I'm just saying there's 65,000 new games out. Like I can't even play. Look, anybody who's working a 40-hour job a week, I don't care if you have kids or you don't. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. If you like painting when you come home, I don't care. Like, there's no way you're playing all these games that are coming out right now, and then you're like, you know what? I can't wait to play a game that got lost in the shuffle from 6 years ago that just made its way into Game Pass. I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing, Mooch, check this out. And my bad, Fox. But when it comes down to it, there's games I absolutely love that are in Game Pass. Games like Hitman, DMC. Like there's a whole list of games. All right. So yeah, I just got done with Red Dead. And I can go back to those games and play them. I'm still trying to 100% DMC, which of course is by Ninja Theory. But then not only that, games like Ashen, that's going to be out Friday.
Yeah.
I don't have to put any money down on that, and I'm just going to go in and play it. Brand new game.
Well, you got to be careful. You use words like I didn't put any money down on that when you did put money down on that. But go ahead.
Let me jump in because I don't know. I have a lot of games to play, but I still see the value of Game Pass.
Well, that's not what I'm asking, though. That's not what I'm asking. There is value in Game Pass.
All right,
but are you using Game Pass or are you playing the new games?
Yes, I'm playing Game Pass because Game Pass affords you the opportunity. You know how you're saying you play certain games at certain times.
Yes.
You feel like playing. I want a slower game or want this. See, the thing is, it's like with Game Pass, you can download these games. You don't have to buy them. You can play them. If you don't like them, you can just uninstall them. You're not risking any money there. If you like it, you play it.
Agreed.
You beat it. Strange Brigade is dropping today, I guess, and that's a game that I wanted to play, but I didn't want to spend money on. It's not a game that I'm going to go hardcore in, but it's a game that I can play with my friends, like co-op style, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not worried about finishing it per se. Maybe I'll play it a couple times. But I don't have to pay for it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it through my subscription, but let's be honest. There was sales going on for Black Friday where we got like basically half off, right?
Yep.
So you break down the numbers, you're paying like pennies on the dollar for this stuff. So that's where the true
That's
value
a good point.
is there. And it like if you want to be a more well-rounded gamer, I don't know if people are interested in that. You can try things that you wouldn't necessarily play, like an RTS or this and that. If you don't normally get into those, download it. If it sucks, it sucks. You want to install it. If you like it, maybe you'll find a whole new genre that you would never think about before. So
right.
Yeah, I'm with Salty and Xbot on that. I get to try games I've never even thought of, even know existed. But then they announce it that they're coming to Game Pass, so I'm like, oh, let me check out the Garden Between game. It looks nice. So I'm gonna try that in between other games that I'm playing, or when I'm winding down at night or whatever. And then I play that. I try Ruiner or something like that. And obviously, we get to try games exclusives before anything.
Yes.
So Ashen, Below, I get to try Crackdown. If I love those games, I go out of my way, get them discounted or whatever later on.
Yeah, listen, I got news for you. So I doubled down and I went and bought more Game Pass for when it was half price again.
Yeah.
And I'll do that.
What suckers we were. We had years and years of that shit.
I know. I know. We gave it all away.
We couldn't even give it away, man. I was like,
No,
you
we
want some
couldn't.
Game Pass? They're like, nah, man, you got anything better
Somebody's
than
like, yeah,
that?
Soda Trigger Pro.
Yeah, you got Soda
I was like,
Trigger
oh, all right,
Pro.
well, I'll go. We'll dig deep for that one.
Yes, let me go find. You got 14-day Xbox Live. I'll take that instead.
I'll be honest.
Really?
I'll give Salty credit where credit's due. Salty made a good point. I think Salty made the point of the millennium with that. I think that the same way that I'm playing like Until Dawn in Detroit is the same way that I would kind of. But here's the thing: I haven't. Maybe I will now. I'll take a look at some of the games. And James Shields, that works for Xbox, I follow him on Twitter. He said he went and played 2 games. He picked, I don't know what they were called. They were called like, James Shields and Mooch take on the world. He played a game like that, right? He's an easy 1,000 gamer score. Like a bunch of that's in Game Pass. And I'm like, I'm not an achievement hunter. So I don't
sometimes those are fun too.
Yeah, I don't, well.
Was it Thomas was alone?
Yeah, no, yeah, it was
Thomas
like,
wasn't alone. You never know. I mean,
yeah, it was like
whatever I see that name, I think it sounds like some epic adventure game, and then it's like some dot game. You're like a little square or something.
Yeah.
It's about them shapes.
Yeah,
but there are games out there, whether you're an achievement hunter or like Salty saying where you're going out there and you're trying a game where you haven't played it before, and it may meet your fancy. Now, however, I will say this much. With that being such a good case that Salt made, I would make just the other side of the coin would be there are a lot of people that are in the casual, quote unquote, casual market that they're not going to take the chances on games that are not big blockbusters, games they haven't heard before, this and that. So, realistically right now in Game Pass, there's maybe a dozen blockbuster games, and the rest are okay or were blockbusters 16 years ago.
Hey, Mooch.
Yeah, but
That's how they get you. They have the Halo, the Gears, the Forza, and then everybody else tries the other smaller ones.
Well, they're hoping that's the honey to get the bees. Yeah.
Well, that's the Netflix part of it. How many shows were on Netflix for like months, even like years before people actually caught on? Like, yo, this show is actually really good.
Right.
Before you know it, with social media, Yo, that show caught
Here's the difference.
Or
Here's the difference.
imagine you were a fan of, say, Daredevil, and then they canceled it.
But wait, crap.
Oh,
Wait,
Krabby,
before you
it's
go
too
down,
soon. Too
before
soon.
you go down that one, it is too soon. But
like
here's the
that
problem.
show.
Here's the problem, Xbot, and we said it 6 months ago. Okay, and we said it when it came out, and we're probably going to say it 6 months from now. The thing what you said that was really, really interesting, and I thought you were right with Netflix, is that Netflix did have that interim where people didn't know about it, and it took a little bit of grassroots for people to talk about it. But Netflix advertised and get the word out there.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. All my friends that are casual, and we all have them. We all have our friends that are casual. They don't know. They still have no idea what the fuck Game Pass is. They have no idea. Because Microsoft will advertise it at the Game Awards.
Oh, they are. They're
Okay. And then they'll advertise it at XO that 85 people that don't live in the United States are at. And like my point being is like that's my issue with Game Pass. Game Pass is an outstanding service for gamers everywhere and anyone, any age.
The further along we go, all right, the closer we get to where they drop Project Scarlet, you know what I'm saying? The more and more you're going to see them marketing their services as well as their hardware and their games, all right?
It really wouldn't behoove them to start advertising Game Pass now. There's no reason not to, because Netflix was advertising Netflix when all they had in their streaming service was What About Bob?
There it
Dude, I
is.
love What About Bob.
Hey, What About Bob was a classic game. Baby
It was the only classic they had, crap.
I know. Hey, listen though, Microsoft is doing a good job with the Game Pass stuff. Though I look, I'm not a huge Game Pass fan because I like to buy my stuff or whatever. But Sir X-Man made a good point. He says Game Pass gave me the ability to play Halo 5, Gears 4, Forza Horizon 4 without using a disc. That's worth it. And he's got
that's true.
Even as a demo service, it's worth $10 a month to me. EA Access was the same type of deal, right? Like
Absolutely.
you pay $30 for the year. I can remember because I was buying my games all physical at the beginning of the year. Oh, let me put Titanfall 1 in. You know what I mean? And then when EA Access was a thing, boom, I didn't have to do that anymore. You know, it was like the same thing. I think I have a physical copy of Halo 5. And so when that made it into whatever, you know, and then I didn't have to do that anymore. Or actually, I think I bought that digitally when I was on sale as well. So I own like 2 copies of that because, you know, I was kind of.
Yeah, but it's a great point regardless. And I bumped into somebody, one of my friends from high school or whatever, and she was telling me that she's getting into gaming again. And you know, have you heard of this game? Have you heard of that game? What about that pirate game on Xbox? She asked me if I have it. I said, well, it's on Game Pass, so I just play it from there. And then she asked me about it. And she was so confused with the fact that you could buy it at the store for $60 or whatever it was at the time, or you could get the subscription and you only pay $10. So she was like, wait, so they're just giving you the game? Like, they're just throwing money at you? And I was like, basically, you could have that plus whatever other games you want to try. She was like, wow, I have to get into Xbox. And I'm like, yeah, which one? Like, she was telling me about PlayStation and Nintendo because, well, that's what the casuals talk about mostly because we know those, you know, those brands forever. And she's like, I have to get on Xbox. They're just giving games away. I'm like, yeah, exactly. If you want to play the pirate game and see if you like it, it's on there along with a whole bunch of like 200 other games or whatever it is.
But I mean, if she's only interested in the game she didn't even know the title of, but she called it the pirate game.
The pirate game.
She's like, that water. Girl, you seen that water?
But I mean, the thing about it is it's a great example of what Foxy brings up. I like that example because that's what I'm talking about. So she's interested in one particular game. Okay, and the fact that she didn't know the name of it even proves my point further. Then she's like, wait a minute, they're giving that game away? Well, they're not. Second of all, she's like, wait, they're charging $60 and I can pay $10 a month for the game I don't know the name of? Yes. So she's going to play the game that she doesn't know and pay $10 a month, right? Maybe only play that game because let me be honest with you. When you do them with casuals, they don't care about the other 99 games. They're not going to do what Salty said and what I said. They're not. They're going to play the game that they went there for. So she's not paying $60 for it. She's paying $120 for it. And Microsoft's like, come to Papa. And that's what they want. That's the whole thing with Netflix. If you have Netflix for just Daredevil, guess what? Yep. There's 75,000 movies and shows on there. But you're watching it just for, like me. I'm that guy. I pay for Netflix for like 3 shows. The other 75,000 shows that are on there, I could care less. So guess what? Netflix is like, I love that mooch. That's the guy we want. The guy who doesn't watch shit but these 3 episodes, and he pays us fucking $10 a month. That's your friend. So my point being is that, like, that's what I'm saying. So when Salty gave a great hardcore speech, he did. But for the casuals, they don't know what we're talking about. They don't know about the games from the 360 era. They don't know about the games that came out first generation in this generation, or the first games in this generation. They don't know that. And that's the point that I'm trying to make here. Microsoft needs to advertise that.
Yes, I agree.
So you
Completely.
get everybody. Yeah. And that's the problem I'm seeing with
They're going to
Game Pass.
advertise at the Game Awards, though.
Yeah, great. So guess who's watching? Us!
Mooch, how do you get labeled the anti-Xbox guy, Mooch? Like, seriously.
No, I mean, listen, what I have to
he's
say,
yelling.
you know, the thing that you have to take into account here, Mooch, is that even though they're not hardcore, when you say $10 a month and 100+ games, their intent is to go up. They're like,
they're interested.
Wait a second. 100 games, and technically right now, currently, it's over 200. See, they advertise 100, but you talk to anybody, and listen, gamers casuals know gamers, right? It's not like someone's going to completely just crawl out of the ground like, what is this video game thing you're talking about? I don't understand. So even if they're not hardcore, or maybe they're just phone players, they're going to know someone that they can ask a question to. Now, whether they come across someone who's honest and is like, yeah, I really prefer PlayStation, but yeah, this Game Pass thing. But to be honest, the reason why it's been hashtag as the Netflix of gaming, when you say Netflix, you think movies. And I think eventually Game Pass is going to be that. When you say Game Pass, you can immediately think Microsoft and value. Like I said, I'm with Salty on this. Okay, I do buy a lot of games, but I am going to tell you this. I'm a huge supporter. I'm paid up for Game Pass until 2021.
Jeez.
Damn,
Yeah.
bro.
And this is coming from the guy who buys all those collector's editions and almost died.
It's also the guy who's one of the most. If there was a pyramid, if there was a pyramid of hardcore players, Boom would be the fucking star on top of the pyramid. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong, Boom. It's not that me, you, the people on this panel. I say it's the crap all the time. It's finally sunk into crap after years of hanging out with them. What we say isn't necessarily what's actually going on in real life.
Yeah, you got to think on a broader scale.
Exactly. And what I'm telling you is I played Blackout today with a bunch of my friends that I had to actually literally twist their arm, and now they're having fun with Blackout. And they play Madden and they play Call of Duty. That's all they play. And they
those
were
are
going to
the
buy
casuals,
this year, right?
Damn, I think
when I say
Call of Duty off my hard drive.
When I say Game Pass, they say, what? Game Pass. What? They don't know what's going on when we say it. So what I'm saying is they don't know what we're talking about. And the point that me and you, I'm paid till 2020, you're 2021. You know, here's the thing. When Microsoft does their metrics, they count on us doing that. So the numbers, we're a part of their tally in the green. They're trying to get the gray and the red, and they haven't gotten that yet. And that's because they don't talk about it in the right location. And you got Aaron Greenberg, who shows more about his sneaker collection than actually Game Pass. And that's the problem. They're not advertising. And, you know, and Xbox said this a few moments ago, which I liked what he said. Xbox said, when Scarlet comes out, we're going to see a lot more of that marketing. Xbox, I certainly hope you're right. I certainly hope you're right. See, I don't think so, but I certainly hope you're right.
Well, Mooch, that's me. That's me being optimistic. And
yes, absolutely.
Looking at it, you know, business sense. You know, everything that they have been doing has been kind of like, you know, pushing into the future. You know,
right?
They did this complete 180 with the Xbox One. They're finally kind of like cleaning up that image. They're wiping the dirt off and everything from the beginning of this generation. And I'm being optimistic. Now, what I want to see is like gradual steps of aggression moving through 2019. This way, by the end of 2019, you see a lot more marketing, a lot more things kind of like revolving around Xbox. You start seeing the logo and stuff in a lot more places. You know, touting new games, showing off new hardware, really going all out. And I feel like, you know, optimistically, they're going to build up to that. Now, could they just do kind of what they've done with marketing and give everybody a dead fish in a box? Yeah. they could definitely do that in terms of marketing. Yeah.
I don't know. I got to say my piece here. I think that you just got to look at what they're doing as a company. Microsoft surpassed Mooch's favorite company, Apple. In the amount of money that they have. And
that always flip-flops all the time.
Satya Nadella, my dude, he said that, gaming is the future. It is the future. You look at, statistics, it's going to surpass the movie industry when it comes to revenue. More people are gaming than ever before. Microsoft has put this as a focal point. Game Pass is their number one priority. Like, don't get it twisted. There's no way they would have purchased all these studios, and they plan to purchase more is because they want this to succeed. There's no way in a business situation, this, Mooch, that they would invest all this money, open their checks, open the checkbooks, and not put like a substantial marketing campaign out there. Like, when they want to advertise their products, they do it. Just look at their partnership again with the NFL. That's something different, right? With the Surface
was back
tablets.
with Matrick, but
yeah,
it's
but
still.
So the thing is like, it's a priority in the company, so they will make it happen. It's not going to be like, hey, we're investing all this money in Game Pass, we'll hope this grassroots marketing works. Like, that's not going to be the case.
No, it's all no. I see what you're saying. So I think that the issue here is that when you take a step back from the podcast and you take a step back from the gaming we all do and the world we live in, I think about the people that I know, and it's a small demographic. So I don't like to just use these numbers because, and I told Xbot this years ago too. He has his demographic, I have mine. But when I go to my friends' homes that have PlayStation 4s or Xboxes, and we discuss it to a certain extent, that's I don't get into the discussions we do because they don't know what we're talking about. It's not their thing. At the end of the day, the casual market is still very much about buying the box, putting the box under their TV and playing the video game, whether it come on a physical disc. Now the casuals are starting to get into the digital era because their music, their movies are that way. They're doing that. So when you hear something like, just to give you an example, when Phil said, we aren't looking to buy any other, many companies or developers that aren't in tune with putting their game on multiple services. Don't get me wrong. From the world me and you sit in, that makes perfect sense. That was translated perfectly for me. I got that. I get it. And if I was sitting on his board of trustees, I go, you know what? I see where you're going with this, Phil. But realistically, all my friends that have PlayStation 4s only or Xboxes only, they don't game on PC. They don't game on tablet. They barely game on their PS4s and their Xbox Ones. So at the end of the day, realistically, yes, you're right. When they look at what they're doing and when they're moving forward, that is the approach that they're trying to go for. But at the same point is, I think Microsoft is missing the key element is today. You need to do your research and your R&D, okay? Your research and design goes on behind the scenes for the future. But what they're doing wrong is today. Today is still advertising on television.
Time. Oh, wait, sorry.
Advertising on television and showing people what they have as their services and getting a product formally placed out there so people can buy them. And here's the thing. They're not doing that right. And you're saying that they're going to do that right? Here's what I say. I hope so. I haven't seen it yet, and neither have you.
We're not privy to inside information.
Well, again, you're talking R&D. I'm talking about today.
What I'm trying to tell you is, like, if your argument held true, they would have invested in these developers before Game Pass even dropped, right?
No, what I'm saying to you, Saul, answer me this: when was the last Game Pass commercial you saw on television?
I don't watch television.
You didn't see it. No, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
What I'm trying to tell you is, all right, so they would not have invested in these developers if Game Pass didn't track to be something huge.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not.
They didn't. Okay, so what I'm saying is they did the experiment, right? They got Game Pass out there. They saw the numbers. Like, the numbers are doing outstanding right now with shitty marketing, like you're saying. Like, they're making money hand over fist. Like, you see that in the margin line. You're seeing that in the profit margins because they have Game Pass. Their first party games kind of suck. not doing too well outside of Forza. Forza's doing pretty good.
Yep.
But other than that, they're still making money, and you got to say, well, where's that
Absolutely.
money coming from, right? Xbox Live or Game Pass. The thing is it's doing well now, and it's just getting started. So that's why they're buying these devs, and then it'll pick up steam once you have product to sell, right? Like if you're Netflix and you don't have a Daredevil, I mean, RIP for that show. But if you have a Daredevil coming out, that's when you put the marketing campaigns out there. You don't put it out like they're not going to put out huge marketing campaigns to say, hey, we're dropping Strange Brigade. And
why would you not put a marketing campaign out for Halo 5, Gears 4, Fallout 4?
Those are
put them
older
out
games,
there.
though. Those are older games, man.
It doesn't matter. They're big names.
They need to have.
What About
bangers
Bob was made
there.
in 1982, and that's what Netflix ran with for their digital services. You don't understand, Salt. I know where you're coming from, but in all honesty, for me, I'm not saying you as a whole. I think you're wrong. They need to start advertising Game Pass now. Now, you start now. You have enough big names in there to advertise now. The fact that you're saying they're going to do it later, they haven't done shit in advertising all generation.
I've seen Game Pass commercials.
I think they feel like
I haven't.
They have.
I mean, we can YouTube. We can bring them up on YouTube.
They're not on TV.
There are multiple YouTube ads that are Game Pass related. There's a dude at a kiosk. He's doing stuff like they did that for Sea of Thieves. There's a Game Pass kiosk. There's stuff for Forza when they're doing the Forza stuff.
I didn't see that on TV at all.
I mean, I can Google them and send them to your DMs, but they're there. Like you're focused solely. You're like one track mind in this TV situation.
TV is the largest form of media,
man. Yo, Mooch, there is a glimmer of hope, man, because just today I was watching ESPN and I saw the adaptive controller commercial on.
Hey, I saw that commercial too, but it was a Microsoft commercial, not an Xbox commercial.
That's the thing. So when you're talking about Xbox, that's the same thing when Saul's talking about the Microsoft with the NFL. It's Microsoft and Surface. Here's a quick
how I can focus on my point, right? So when they drop the Avengers 4 trailer, where are they dropping that first? I mean, a lot of the times where it gets mentioned is YouTube, right? How many hits did it get on YouTube? When is it going to drop on YouTube? I mean, you can see these trailers drop on Monday Night Football, but the majority of the views come from hits on YouTube. YouTube is a search engine that is it's owned by Google.
You're not understanding, and it's hard for me to prove the metrics to you, but realistically, the gaming business is unlike any other business. You're 100% right with what you're saying, but where you're wrong is in the gaming business. Why would Sony completely take a Subway and make it Spider-Man? Why do they do everything? Why was every commercial from August 30th till today Spider-Man and God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2 on television? Because that's where the casuals lay. What you're talking about, okay, is the hardcore. Okay, the people that are the casuals are not on YouTube just hanging out waiting for an Xbox commercial to pop up between Grey's Anatomy. No, they're streaming on Cody. It's not happening.
You'd have to take major surveys, right? But the demographics of the amount of people that get their media from YouTube is massive. I'm talking about people that are in their early 30s, 20s. You ask them, hey, how much TV do you watch? I would bet the farm that they're going to be watching a majority of their media from social media, YouTube, Netflix, all this other stuff, and they're not really watching TV. So there's the argument there, and it's just I have a hard time believing that they could have people that run a business at Microsoft that they could surpass Apple and not have an idea.
Surpassing Apple has nothing to do with Xbox commercials.
Hey, proofs in the pudding. Proofs in the pudding.
Check this out. This is where
proofs in the pudding.
This is where
how does it? Hey, wait.
You're talking about a fraction of the pie.
How does it not make sense?
It is a division. Xbox beat Apple.
It is a division of Microsoft, right? Microsoft is a business. They run their business.
And next quarter, when Apple wins, does that mean Xbox sucks because Apple beat them? Stop. That has nothing to do with it.
So if they invest millions and millions and millions of dollars, which is a lot of money, because how much does it cost to acquire Rare? so many years ago. They're buying these studios, they're snatching them up, making a quadruple A studio. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars. And you got to tell me, Mooch, they're going to go to people like Satya Nadella or even above him, above his pay grade, and say, hey, we're doing this Game Pass shit, but we're not going to market it. It's going to hurt us. We're not going to sell as much as we can. No, Microsoft would not let that fly, dude.
They wouldn't say that. But what I can say in terms of what Mooch is saying, like, I'm somebody who watches YouTube a lot, all right? And when it comes to the advertisements on YouTube, if they're skippable, I skip them, all right?
Exactly.
Thank
you. You can't skip TV commercials, but you can skip those.
If they're the long, unskippable ones, I get pissed off.
So what I'll tell you about that is it's 5 seconds that gets burned into your brain.
But check this out.
You can't skip that.
But check this out. This is where I'm saying, like, I agree with Mooch that there needs to be a balance. I'm agreeing with both of you guys here. All right. I feel like
I don't think YouTube is the wrong, and listen, that's the future. I get it. But realistically, it's not
YouTube for the younger demographic.
There's no Game Pass commercials on TV, and that's a big miss.
But you also need the TV and stuff like that for the older people who are also going to buy.
The ones buying the shit.
Exactly.
Hello.
Bro, I wish I had a revenue sheet right now to slam
the
down
revenue
on the
sheet.
table.
The people that are 35 and under
for Game Pass,
not making the money that people over 35 and over.
I'm telling you, man. It comes down to how you partake in media and how I partake it, and you see that as the golden standard, and it is one way or another.
I'm telling you that Verizon didn't get into the cable business this late in the game because it was a bankrupt business.
I'm telling you, man. Why is every company, answer me this, why is Disney starting up their own streaming service and every other company under the sun?
Because they're not going to run coax, or they're not going to run fiber optics all over the United States. That's why.
Let me interrupt this real quick to pay some bills. Elemental Pino says Sega used to do a lot of advertising for Dreamcast, and then poof, it was gone. Turns out they spent too much on advertising. It's
expensive, dude. It's expensive. Verizon's a conglomerate, dude.
I mean, I wouldn't say Sega spent too much on advertising, and that's what cost them. I would say that they lost consumer confidence. And yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you another reason why Sony advertises like their life's dependent on it. Their lives depend on it. I mean,
I'll give you that.
If they don't sell their products, I'm sorry, they're closing shop up.
He's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he
knows they got to sell their product. Yeah. And Microsoft's like, well, Phil Spencer will just walk out with a new T-shirt on. That's not the same thing.
Hey, he's gonna walk out with a Game Pass T-shirt, dude. It's gonna happen.
T-shirt. Oh, holy shit! Everybody else doesn't have it. Needs to get it now. It's underneath the members jacket only. I mean, listen. My thing is this: we can go around in circles all day. We got other topics, but I mean, realistically, I know where salt's coming from, and so I'm not disagreeing with your principles. I'm just saying that realistically, they're not working for Microsoft. It's not working.
They got
says Microsoft is advertising all over Facebook.
Great.
I can't validate if that's true or not, but
I'm sure maybe it is. I'm sure it is.
Facebook still exists.
Apparently, dude. I don't know. So yeah,
I think my grandmother and my mom are on Facebook. So yeah, it might exist for them, but.
You've got so many things like NBC, CBS, ABC that have streaming, but do they fight for cable? So people are saying to me, cable's not dying by no stretch of the imagination.
Dude, even in the streaming services, they sell ad revenue, and there are ads in their streaming services as well. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying not every, you don't have like CBS is like Netflix or anything like that. No, it's like having that channel, streamed to you. All right, they still have ad revenue there, and you still need to see Xbox in those areas as well.
Mickey 1483 goes, Mooch, look, it's illegal download. Listen, you know how many illegal downloads are on digital only? Like with just like all the other stuff that was. Come on, stop.
Another counterpoint is, all right, you guys are monetized on YouTube. Google isn't stupid. If their advertisements didn't work and everybody skipped them, they would be out of business. That's just the point, right? No, and not everybody skips the ads. They do bring revenue. They bring advertisers. That's why we had this big adpocalypse, because they needed to up their game because people were making content that's not suitable. So if it didn't work, this is another viewpoint. Why the hell would these companies spend millions of dollars to advertise on YouTube if everybody just has ad block and skips their ad? They wouldn't. They would be wasting their money, and the YouTube platform wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't be here, and that is the point.
Half of the stuff you see on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube that you guys are all talking about that are news are coming off of clips from TV. So it's like, that's what I'm trying to say to you. That's the source. It's always going to be the source. It's like the library. Why aren't libraries gone? Right? Oh my God, there's still libraries, right? Like TV is the source. It's not going to go away, and not while we're all breathing. And right, I'm not speaking for like our generations beyond and beyond and beyond. Yes, you're right in the fact that we're taking that, copying it, and putting it on YouTube. Look at everything we talk about, Salt, that we talk about on these podcasts and everything else. It's all regurgitated, okay, from print. So my point being is that, like, no. Like the New York Times is still selling. Is it hurting?
I get my
Times came out in the 1700s, for crying out loud.
I get my print from my cell phone, so
that's fine. That's a you problem. But I'm saying that there's people in New York City and LA buying it every day in their hand for $1 something. My point being is that if there's still a New York Times and an LA Times, cable's around for a long time, folks. Long time. Because guess what? To prove Salty's point on my side, is there's tons of advertising in the newspaper. And that's what keeps them afloat. Yeah. That means someone must be reading that.
I mean,
and that's a newspaper, Salt.
Tell that to all the newspaper places here in Phoenix that shut down.
Hey, I'm going to tell the 2 or 3 that are still up there. Newspapers were out when Horse and Buggy were out.
You're talking about
cable being gone, and cable still in all of our homes. It has the
highest population in the U.S., like one of the highest.
I just showed you your point in print.
No, I could show you the companies that shut down here in Phoenix, which is one of the highest metro areas.
Time Magazine, and The Inquirer.
Those are huge companies, right?
Life,
we're talking about
walking.
We're talking about
drinking. There's a ton of magazines that all have print with all kinds of advertising. So you're gonna lose that one. Advertising's everywhere, dude.
All right, hey, you guys are a little bit like Skip and Shannon. I don't know which is which.
There's gaming. Come on, stop it.
I want to jump on to our next topic.
TV.
No, TV. Hey, nobody wants that though. Remember,
no, of course they don't. Yet,
yes,
PlayStation View is just skyrocketing. Of course, according to PlayStation.
So yeah, this was interesting. Naughty Dog confirms that no Last of Us 2 at the Game Awards. My question is, does this mean it's going to be a 2020 game now?
Yep.
And the rumor is that Sony is pushing back some of their heavy hitters into 2020 to coincide with a cross-gen launch with the PS5, realizing that Microsoft is setting themselves up for a launch with their next console with a ton of exclusives. Yep. So that could be accurate. So here's the thing. They're saying no Last of Us 2 news at Game Awards. Sony has no E3 presence. So you might not get any Last of Us 2 news until PSX next November.
If there's one.
If there's one, which would mean 2020 release, probably holiday 2020. That's an incredible long time away. I mean, they teased this game. They celebrated the 2-year anniversary of the announcement of the game. Who the hell in their right mind celebrates I asked Mooch this. I said, who celebrates a 2-year anniversary of an announcement of the game? Like Crackdown should do that. Welcome to the 5th anniversary of the day we announced Crackdown. Woo! Yeah, right? No, nobody cares.
I am ready to go out on a limb here. You know, people are saying that they're pushing back these games. And I kind of went with that out on the surface, but on the inside, I am going to let you know that I feel that they were already setting this up. All right. If you look at their past E3s and stuff like that, they have been always really cloudy when it came to actual dates that games, for games to drop, exclusives to drop. They were always really shady with that whole thing. I feel like when it came to games like The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, games like that, I'm going out on a limb and saying that they were never slotted for 2019, and they were always behind closed doors in the blueprint coming out 2020 with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Boom, we haven't heard from you in a while. Why don't you tell us, man, what do you think about this? Because I know you're a fan of this series. So, like, what is your thoughts as a PS4 platform holder? I mean, what do you think, man?
Well, you know, I have serious concerns. I mean, we talked about it very early in the show about how Days Gone has gotten. Look, the reality is this: what's going on with Days Gone is shows that there is a double standard in this industry. You know, we went from February 22nd to April 23rd. Now, secretly and very hush-like, we hear that it has a placeholder date of 12/31/19, which means the game isn't coming out this year. Listen, to be completely fair, both Mooch and I are looking forward to this game. I think it looks fantastic. It's right up my alley. It's open world. It's got zombies. It's got bikers. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, but I have concerns. Now, in regards to Ellie kicking a peach to Joel, you know, we haven't seen much from the game. I think Sony has realized that they really don't have any more bullets left in the chamber, and that they have no choice but to delay all of these big games so that when the PlayStation 5 does come out, they actually have games to launch. Because you know, in past history, as you know, the first few years of a Sony system is very dry when it comes to their first party games.
Yeah. Well, I had heard from someone that internally Sony was a little bit worried because Microsoft was setting themselves up to launch their next generation with multiple big like AAA exclusives, and Sony, like you said, traditionally launches with very little with their new consoles. And so what they're doing is specifically holding back some of these games to actually have something to compete against Microsoft, because when you have no fear mongering
right
to help you at the beginning of a generation, and it's a fair fight, things don't necessarily have to go aren't necessarily going to go in Sony's favor.
Boom made a good point. Boom, I want to add to your point. You made something that I was thinking about just the other day, is that when we saw Joel kick the peach over, okay, right? Which is there's still people over there. There's still people over there fainting. And then they showed what we saw last year, okay, where they had the guy with the banjo and they're in the church, and they showed that, and I got excited. I got real excited for The Last of Us 2. And I'm watching it, and I said, oh, this is going to be great. Now I'm wondering, you've got our good friend Neil Druckmann, who hasn't shaved since 2012. And he came out and he says, basically, I've got a lot more to show you, but not now. And now there's speculation that it could be a PS5 game or come out in 2020.
Right.
Here's what I'm thinking. We saw quite a bit of that game illustrated last year at E3.
Yes.
I mean, that was a good chunk of the game.
That was a nice trick. That whole camp where she's running around.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
That was not something that was like thrown together for E3. I
went to the bathroom during that part, by the way, during the stream. So yeah,
that's fine. But crap. Here's my point. How can you take that much of the game and show me that the UI, the crafting, the selection of weapon and gunplay, in the case of the bow or whatever, and the tactical ability in that scene was so precise that you're so far off? I think if they're holding off, and crap, this is one of the things Crap and I talked about when it came to Forza, and I'll say it for The Last of Us. If The Last of Us is ready to release by the end of 2019, but they're holding it for 2020, shame on them.
Yeah, I agree.
Shame on them, because that game is already going to feel semi-dated, because that's crap. Because if that game looks like it was to be honest with you, the way they showed it last year, I thought it was going to release the holiday this year.
Yes.
But if you want to push it to 19, I'm okay with it. But how dare you push it to 2020?
Let me pay a bill real quick. Elemental Pino says, whatever happened to that Wild game announced in 2014?
That was a good question.
That's a great question.
That game.
You are the man that I go to when it comes to knowledge of games and where they are and stuff like that. Like, do you know what happened to that game?
I have not heard anything about that game in a long, long time. It's like that Agent game from Rockstar, right? They abandoned that trademark, or that Deep Down game from Capcom.
Nobody in the media hunts them down. There's no media bias, folks.
Nobody does. Ermi says,
When
Ernie
Phil
says-
rhymes the word game, they're like, Phil, didn't you rhyme the word game like 3 years ago about this situation? And they hunt it down. No one's hunting it. No one's even mentioned wild till Element said it right 5 seconds ago. How unbelievable is that?
Hey, Ermi says, Crap Gamer, whatever happened to that Forza kart game? Didn't you mention that? So what happened was, it ended up not being a kart game. It ended up being a game, and they changed it. I think they took the Forza name. It was like Miami Nights or something. So it's like a
terrible,
terrible, yeah, some kind of terrible.
Seth in the
game.
chat is confused. The Last of Us 2 never had a release date. Seth, no one's saying that.
No
You're
one's
missing
saying
my
that it had a
point.
release date, but we're saying that they're specific.
Well, that's funny because a lot of people who love PlayStation were swearing to God that was a 2019.
Well, I actually have even a better question, Bot. Now that Days Gone is gone, what is Sony releasing in 2019?
Well, look, here's the thing. Days Gone could still come out when they say it is. What did they change it to April or something like that?
April 23rd was the next date.
So if you guys didn't know, Days Gone, it's been delayed already. Now, I've watched some new previews of this game, and Mooch, I think you saw it too, where they say this game is running very poorly.
Yes, it's not running good at all.
Yes.
Yeah, like they're saying that even when there's only a few enemies on the screen, it's really chugging. Like maybe this game isn't ready for this. It needs optimization, or it's not ready. So there is some problems here, right? And it might get delayed again, which so far the only game slated from Sony for next year release is Days Gone, which now has a placeholder
Dreams,
which is the Little Big Planet developers game that has been shelved a couple of times. They had to start completely over multiple times. And that game has been in development as long as Crackdown 3, but nobody says anything about that, right?
Well, dude, if you think about it, even if Days Gone is like pushed back, it's delayed or whatever, and even if only Dreams is coming out next year, we're looking at a year that's like right before, it's a year where they're going to be announcing like the PlayStation 5 and all that good stuff. I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. You still have like the multi-plats that are coming out throughout the year and everything like that. They kind of gave everything, the last couple years, and if they don't have anything here, at least it's in on the business side of things, at least it's the in between year before they move on to new hardware, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like the thing is, I just think that it's one of those things where it's rumored that Microsoft is going to have a more powerful box, even if it's more expensive, because it's rumored that that they, because they might have 2 SKUs. Right. So that's something that that Sony, also has to consider as well. I think this is where Microsoft might mess up a little bit, right? Because they're like, what are they going to name it? I mean, that's a debate for a whole nother night. Like, you can't have 6 or 8 different boxes out there, right? I think that'd be the most foolish thing they could ever do. Like, you can have a couple, but like, are they going to do forward compatibility? Is the S still going to be relevant? Are they still going to sell that? What's the streaming box? Where's that going to fit into all this? The X. If they have multiple SKUs of the Scarlet, like how many different boxes are they going to have? Like that could be very, very confusing, especially if Sony has one PS5. Here you go. You know what I mean? Like that would really kind of screw Microsoft over, and they have a habit of doing that, right? So while I do like a lot of the stuff that Microsoft does, one of the things that they tend to do is put their foot in their mouth and confuse people and screw themselves over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like when it, like, I can see everything working, but you're right. It's all about how they put it out there. Like, when it comes, I think they're going to have forwards compatibility. So I think that, the games that do come out for Scarlet are going to be playable, not to parity, but will be playable on, at least the Xbox One X, most likely the S as well. But like I said, it's going to look dramatically different than if you were playing it on Scarlet. And when you give Microsoft, like, here, now put this information out there, they can screw it up big time. You know what I'm saying? But I feel that if they just say that, yeah, these games, look at them, they are Scarlet games, but if you're not ready to upgrade to Scarlet and you still have your Xbox One X or whatever, you can buy these games now, play them now, and then when you do upgrade to the hardware, it goes right over with you. So that could work, man. It could work.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what they're doing. I hope it's not too confusing. Mooch, what do you feel about that? Like, could be confusing. I mean, you're you're a consumer type guy. You buy phones and the iPhone X and Z and M and what do you think?
iPhones in his sleep, man.
He
Come on.
does. He's single-handedly keeping Microsoft.
What's coming out in different generations?
Okay, so what we're talking about here is how Microsoft could possibly screw up a bit because Sony might come out with a PS5, just a PS5, like one SKU. Right. Microsoft has forward compatibility. Possibly they could still be selling the S, the X, Scarlet streaming, 2 versions of the Scarlet, one more powerful than the other. Like, at what point does that become confusing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think confusing's not the issue anymore. The issue right now is how does the public perceive the way gaming consoles are supposed to come out? So if we still stick with the quote unquote traditional, which has worked for Sony so far, no doubt that we've said this over and over tonight a million times that Microsoft definitely has their leg up on what we would say next generation of the future of gaming. That I'll give them, but. If PS5 comes out traditionally, right, and they're going to have backwards compatibility, but only forward, no forward compatibility. So PS4 is done. You have to buy a PS5 to move forward.
I mean, you'll be able to still play the stuff they've announced for it, like versions of the games, but not forward compatible. You know what I mean? Right.
Great. But what I'm saying, I don't think Microsoft's going to confuse anybody because they're going to have, this is my opinion, they're going to have the X as their lower price SKU. And the Scarlet is their upper price. They're going to have backward and forward compatibility. So Xbox isn't going to confuse anybody. It's going to be.
I mean, if you have 6 different boxes, I think that's a bit confusing, don't you think?
What's the 6?
Okay, so you have the
X
S,
and Scarlet.
You have the X. You have
the S is gone. The S will be discontinued.
You think that's going to be gone? I mean,
absolutely.
I sort of have my doubt, but okay. So you have the X, and then there's a rumor that you might have 2 Scarlet SKUs, one more powerful and one less powerful. You know what I mean? And there's also the streaming one. So that would be like
no. In my opinion, the X is the less powerful because it's already doing 4K 30.
Okay.
So there's your less, and then your Scarlet's your maximum. So you've got an X already on the market. You've got your Scarlet, which is your upgrade. And then, yes, they may have a third SKU, which is their streaming, but it'll be completely marketed. And again, I say marketed with a smiley face upside down.
Yeah.
It'll be marketed to go out and be pushed that way for people that don't want physical media and they want to go that route. That's up to them how they're going to perceive that, how they're going to show that to the audience. But I don't think that's going to confuse anybody in the era we're moving into.
Well, you just look at it though, right? So again, and you bring up something I didn't even think about when I was talking about that is the discless ones that are rumored to be coming out too. Right. So I mean, again, that's a lot of SKUs out there, right?
Yes, they're not dropping the S. What they should do is advertise.
But I think you're right.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Should do. They should.
Because why would they come out with a discless S next year if they're going to drop it the next year? You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't.
It's the Trojan horse.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like they won't discontinue the S if they come out with an S without a disc next year. That's what I'm saying. Because if Scarlet is 2020 and why would they come out with a discless S in 2019
and then tell everybody they can't use it a year later?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they can use it. It's not that they're discontinuing. You're not going to be able to buy an S again in 2020. The SKU will be dead. But if you have an S, you'll be able to play Xbox Scarlet games on them.
Well, I mean, but you're going to be able to possibly buy a discless. See, this is why I never bought into that discless crap. And
there's always something that comes out new hardware. Generally, the year before, it's almost dead. That's why it's so damn cheap.
Yeah, I mean, they did come out with that new 360 model.
Yeah, that looked like the one. I remember that they did come out.
I bought that because it looked like the one.
Yeah, and then it was just dead on delivery. I mean, but that's for the I'm talking about late adapters.
I mean, they lasted they lasted 360 lasted a couple of years after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll get, and you know what? If it comes out next year, you got a full year and a half with it. Who knows? Maybe they'll come out in June with it or May. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I don't know. So, it's I just find that to be a little bit interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, you and Xbot made a great conversation there. I don't think for the better sake of Microsoft, I hope to God they get rid of one or two of the SKUs. You can't have, like you said, you can't have 6 SKUs out there.
Yeah. So so in April of 2016. They stopped producing the Xbox 360. So that 360 model lasted 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a pretty damn good amount of life cycle from that. You know what I mean? And that was back
with the forwards compatibility. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like the games will be playable across the board. All right. But the thing is, like, they don't have to be great on the lower tiers of the Xbox One. Just as long as they're playable, they're checking that box there and saying, well, you could play the game there. Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, but at the end of the day, if you want the best experience, all the bells, the whistles, the biggest world, all this good stuff that you're going to get it on Scarlet. All right. And then the X would be the good kind of like intermediate right there. And then, if you can't really do anything and you have the S, you can still get the game on the S.
Well, here's the thing. I was never opposed to a discless Xbox. Like people, like I know, like I like physical media still. I wasn't opposed to it. I just said it, and I stick by this. It makes 0 sense to release an S in 2019 this discless, right? 100% makes no sense.
Crap, I like the idea. There's some people out there saying, at least a couple people saying that, what if this S with no disc tray, what if it has some of that hardware for the X Cloud? Some of that hardware that they know they're putting in that smaller box, and eventually letting people know you can use that discless for the streaming, and it has kind of like that lower input latency kind of like hardware in it. And stuff like that, letting people know that it has those pieces in it as well, so you can use it as kind of like the X Cloud if you purchased it early, like if you purchased it in 2019. That's a thought right there.
It could be. I want to talk about one more thing real quick. So Phil Spencer says E3 is here to stay. They're going to be interested also in doing an
XO. Rubbing that shit in, man.
He also says that Microsoft is interested in doing another XO next year. Pretty much all but confirmed it. Also said he hears the criticism about not announcing a new game.
Thank you.
Yes, obvious. I mean, obviously, look, if they would announce something new there, that's a knockout, right? Like here's the thing. Like Phil's a clever guy, right? He's very smart. Like, just look at what he did to me. He turned that around on me and made me look like an asshole. Right. We all know that. You're canceling a pre-order. Ha ha. And then I have 40,000 ads, So yeah. So like, he's like, yeah, well, we didn't know people wanted to hear a new announcement. Right. Like bullshit. You knew people wanted an announcement, so I just think that he didn't want to do one then, or maybe wasn't ready in his eyes. But it is cool that he is kind of recognizing that that was like a main complaint for that show, and that they're going to try to rectify it. What do you think, Mooch?
I guess, man. I don't know. Who the hell knows what he wants? I don't know.
Mooch sent me a damn gift.
I sent you a damn gift. I was hoping you read it and we get the hell out of it.
I just want to do this one last topic. Like, what do you like? Anybody else think about the XO stuff, games and stuff?
I think it's good he's admitting that the XO situation wasn't what it should have been. I honestly, like, they should have named it something else. It was misadvertised, and I think that's just kind of comes down to their PR people. But hopefully in the future they make it more like XO events in the past. Huge announcements and all that good stuff. So
isn't it funny, Salt? Though, in all honesty, to go full circle, though, isn't it funny that he says that? And we were saying it weeks before, and we have no fucking idea what they're talking about in the boardroom.
Yep.
I didn't know it was going to be like, of course you did, Phil. Like,
see, he's spinning it, man.
Exactly. And I mean, like, it's kind of crap, to be honest with you. Crap.
Yeah.
That's what I just said. Like, obviously everybody knows. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we didn't know our fans wanted game announcements. What? That's crazy. Crazy talk,
No, we wanted to see more Jeff Rubenstein.
Yes, with the sweater vest and maybe
button up to his, up those Adam's apple.
Julia Hardy, tell us how we're all misogynists.
Exactly.
Who knows? It's all great. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. Hey, hit that like button, guys. We're close to 250 likes. We put on a hell of a show. It's been a fantastic night. Everybody did a great job. Mooch, what do you got going on, man? I know you got some interesting stuff to talk about.
We got some good stuff going on, buddy. Great show tonight, by the way. And a lot of people don't understand. Yes. Outstanding debate. This is the way it used to be. There's only a couple. That's what I love about Salty is you get a good debate with Salt. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I love about podcasts. It's why I do it. If we're all going to sit here and go, what do you think, Salt? Yeah, I think you're right.
I love Salt.
I think you're right too, X-Bot.
He stays calm and just calmly says his point all the way through. Like, just going. I blame the heat that he's so calm. I'm so cold. We just have to keep moving to stay warm. But no, nonetheless, we've got Crossfire 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night, and then I am dropping a
What's the deal with Just Cause 4 on Friday as well? We'll have another one of those. Trying to get a video out a week. I can't do as much as others do, but I'm going to try and get at least one more on top of the podcasting. So do subscribe to the Mooch 78. And then we've got the big reveal of the MNC show on Sunday at 11 a.m.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
That
new producer, new artwork, new everything, new skits. Yes. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, so that's going to be very exciting. Salty, what do you got going on, man? Are you going to be doing the show tomorrow?
Yeah, we got we have the Salty's Gaming podcast tomorrow. It's going to be a half an hour earlier because we're going to be doing a live reaction show for the Game Awards, all the good stuff. I got my new computer, so we're doing all the bells and whistles there. I'm going to get some guests on. It's going to be fun, man. It's just going to be a hangout. It's going to be cool.
That does sound pretty awesome, man. That sounds amazing. Xbot, what do you got going on?
Well, dude, actually tomorrow, me and K Mega are coming together, possibly a couple other people, and we are going to check out the VGAs. We're going to sit back. We're going to make fun of the people that are up there at the podium. Of course, we're going to get excited about game trailers and stuff like that. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do it on my channel as well. And then, of course, you know, every Saturday, 7 p.m. is the next podcast, as well as Friday. Friday kicks off everything with Crossfire.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely awesome. Boom, man! Your first episode, you were you were in the middle of a big old debate and just kind of chilled for a minute, just like the rest of us. But man, what do you got going on, bro?
Well, tomorrow we have the Xbox Factor podcast, which is actually happening at noon instead of 11, obviously a.m. Crossfire on Friday night, which I can't wait for. And I have a bunch of announcements coming up for the rest of the year. They're going to be very interesting. Stay tuned.
I'm interested in when you team up with Noof Nukem and it's Boom Boom Kaboom show. Like that's going to be the show I'm looking forward to. So we're so close to 250 likes. Hit the like button. We really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for coming out, man. Xbox is bringing the heat. Sony, they actually, I know they're in the lead right now, but Sony totally depends on the PlayStation brand so much more than Microsoft does with Xbox, and Microsoft's got so much more money. It's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Later.
Peace.